What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. Y'all ready to get it popping for the day? I am absolutely, positively excited to be before you today, this week, and we're gonna get it in, man. We're gonna get it in. So, a little bit of housekeeping that we have to do. Got to take care of some business. Got to make sure that everybody is good, and then we gonna rock out. So, first and foremost, I just want to say that I appreciate you guys for tuning in and tapping in all through 2024 because I'm expecting for 2025 to be absolutely awesome. And Patreon, man. We got a Patreon exclusive coming up this week. So this week we are going to go over budget. So I'm going to show you how you merge the learnings of how they budget from a corporate perspective into your own personal finances. So it's a little bit more advanced than the normal budget videos and any budget video that I have inside of the Patreon. But I want to show you guys how you can project your earnings and then use that and leverage that in order to get a bag. Okay, let me say that again. I'm going to show you guys how to project your earnings and then leverage that information in order to continue to run up a much bigger bag. So you're not going to find anything like this anywhere. You can YouTube it, you can Google it, you can look it up, you can do all of that, and you're never going to get this level of information anywhere. So I would encourage you guys to not only go through, watch all of the previous bag chaser videos, watch all of the previous Patreon videos, but also in addition to that, I would also encourage you guys to tap into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos, and to really join in on this live stream because I will be doing Q&As. I'm trying to figure out because I know that Christmas is this week. So I'm trying to figure out the best day to do this live stream. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'll make a decision today on what day we're going to live stream. I know some of y'all don't want to do it on Christmas. I don't really care about that. Like for me personally, none of that matters as far as like the day of the week or what holiday and stuff. Let me say this. I think that maybe I should save this. Maybe I should save this soliloquy that I'm about to go on. Now, let's have it. I was explaining to somebody over the weekend, and we were kind of going back and forth talking about Christmas and holidays and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love holidays. I think that it's dope. Any excuse that you can use to get with family, is a great thing. Let me say that again. Any excuse that you can use, and I'm gonna read the super chats and the Cash App shortly. Any excuse that you can use to get with family is a phenomenal thing. You know what I'm saying? So get with your people. We work a lot. We take care of business, and be on top of that. All right. Be present. Put your phone down for a second. Talk to your people and all of that. But I was explaining to somebody over the weekend that men men in most industries, especially coming from spaces where you basically eat what you kill, meaning you got your own business, you work for yourself, you're a contractor, construction, all of that. Traditionally, PTO, paid time off, is not a thing. And we're going to get into working from home today. I'm going to go into a lot of different conversations, but PTO is not a thing. So, for example, I have a corporate position all the way up until the 31st of this year. Then I get a payout, get a severance, get a bunch of money, and then I'm probably going to retire from corporate America until I unretire and somebody give me a huge bag. But all of the benefits that you get, your total compensation package is completely different than what you make per hour. Completely different than what your salary is. And so if you want to know what your total compensation package is, you need to contact human resources and they will tell you, okay, well, this is what you get in benefits. And this is what you could potentially earn when it comes to making sure that you pour into your 401k and your Roth 401k and your healthcare coverage, and you get all of these perks and benefits and all of this stuff, right? A part of that perk and benefit is that some of us accumulate PTO, meaning that you get a certain amount of days off every single month, or you may work for a space or in a UAW or on a plant floor or whatever, where you get vacation time, so many vacation hours per year. You are privileged. You are blessed. For some of you, I would say that the best thing for you to do is to stay in a regular job. 95, 96, 97% of people need to go and work for somebody else. You are not built for this entrepreneurship life. This is not for you. This is not for the weak. This is not for people that's looking to take days off. This is not for people that's, trying to figure out when they next off day so they can plan their vacation. We plan as entrepreneurs vacations around our work schedule. So for example, I know people that work do seasonal work, right? They may be in construction or they may be working in an environment where they outside a lot or whatever, so on and so forth. And so they then stack up as much as they possibly can. And then they take their vacations during times where it's a lull, where it's a down season, where they know it's not going to be as much work. Traditionally, people planned their lives around their ability to be able to earn as much money as possible. But we become so weak and so coddled and so sassy nowadays that not only do we villainize people that are successful and rich, but we've also felt entitled to that compensation. You see somebody, an Elon Musk, a Jeff Bezos, and Amazon workers are striking. Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos is over here taking interviews and he just makes it. What you what when did we become so weak to where we start counting other people's pockets to determine whether or not our success can be manifested? One of the reasons why America and everybody is trying to get over here is because most people understand that you're supposed to build your way up. Traditionally, you're supposed to start at the mailroom, get an internship, even if it's unpaid, so you can get some experience and then work your way up and leverage that experience to get better jobs. And then ultimately, you take the money that you make and then you pour it into the American dream and then you become successful and you send your kids to school and you buy that white picket fence with the house and the dog and all of this stuff. Now, let me tell you how far society has devolved and why they say weak men are literally, and I'm not just talking about men, I'm talking about men and women, are the foundation of who we are today, is because now we feel like you're supposed to start at the bottom and get paid a livable wage. When those jobs were traditionally reserved for high school kids. I remember when we used to go to Cedar Point, because that was like a tradition for people in Detroit. We would either go to Cedar Point or you go with your senior trip, you would go to Cedar Point or whatever, so on and so forth. And those were seasonal jobs. Like you would see kids working there that was, on break, or they was taking they summer off and stuff like that. Disney World, they over here filing lawsuits talking about they need to pay them a livable wage. You supposed to get paid $30 an hour to flip burgers nowadays and get PTO. And get PTO. Seriously, it's crazy. It's insane. So we've devolved as a society, but traditionally you eat what you kill. And to bring it back to the conversation about the whole holidays and the Christmas and stuff like that, I was telling somebody that, I don't look at life in the same lens as a regular everyday person, because regardless if I'm working in corporate America or not, or, I go into the entrepreneurship bag or I have those conversations, what most women and what people that are not coddled and wasn't raised by their mothers and their grandmother's bosom don't understand is that most people were never supposed to be getting PTO. Those were benefits that employers use to entice people to come into their company versus the competition. And so they would give them extra perks and benefits. Like at Google, they would say, we'll feed you at lunch for free, and we'll give you dry cleaning and all of this stuff. But it was incentivized for them to come into the office more often. And so you wouldn't have to leave. You could stay there and work as long as possible, which was one of the reasons why that culture wasn't necessarily for me. And I decided to stay in Michigan and work and transform a traditional industry from a technological perspective. But my point is that usually you only got paid for the job that you've done. That's why I have so much respect for people that are in skilled trades, for people that work with their hands, for men that are on the line, all of those things. If you not out here building a house, doing the HVAC, doing excavation, plumbing, electrical work, carpentry, they don't get paid unless the job gets done. They got to go out there, they got to roofing, they got to go out there, work, pitch, siding, all of this stuff. People that are part of the Patreon, I did a whole video where I broke down all of the different costs that's associated with it. My architect, my general contractor, he gets paid a percentage. And if you want to know what that looks like, because I have built a house and I am building houses, he gets paid a percentage of the job. And so the faster that we move per job, the quicker that he makes his money. And so I know guys that's like, yo, listen, we working all around the holidays. We don't care. Or they waiting for the weather to get better so that they can generate more revenue, because that's how they feed their families. That's how they generate so much revenue. That's how they run up a bag. So when I see these coddled people that are protesting and are like little girls, or when I see people say what they deserve from their job or their boss, but they sitting there doing nothing, it disgusts me. It disgusts me as a man. Genuinely, it genuinely disgusts me, and it doesn't resonate with me. Monday is the same as Friday with me. Tuesday is the same as Thursday with me. Wednesday is the same as Sunday with me. I don't miss. I don't miss. I am not worried about what everybody else is doing. I don't tailor my life to what everybody else's cultural norm is. And that is the difference. That is going to be the separation between those that have and those that don't. Those that's begging and waiting for the federal government to give them a job, and those that go out and create opportunity for themselves. They leverage the position that they in to ultimately continue to benefit them. And that's how I know that opening up your business or entrepreneurship, it's not for you. It's not for everybody. If you think that you can take a day off just because you sick or you not feeling well, get out. Get out. It's not for you. Because the customer don't care about your family dying. The customer don't care about how sick your kid is. They want their food immediately. They want their product done. The person that contracted you to do the job, don't call me talking about, oh, I had a family emergency. I have a deadline to meet, and if I don't meet that deadline, then it's going to cost me more money. Get my job done. I don't care what you do. You proposed a job to me. I am going to pay you X amount of dollars because I accepted your proposal and we got a contract. Miss me with little Timmy's doctor appointment. Miss me with your husband cheating on you. Miss me with your grandma feeling a certain type of way about the fact that you voted for Republican instead of voting Democrat. I don't care. I am not sympathetic to your needs because you're not going to give me a discount on what it is that I'm paying you to get the job done. Miss me with your life. I don't care about your life. I don't even want to know you that well. The only thing I want you to do is execute on the thing that I'm paying you for. And that is the difference between those that create opportunities for others and those that expect somebody else to do something for them. Nobody cares about your life. Nobody cares about what you think. We don't care about your baby pictures. Don't make no difference to me. I don't give a F. Real talk. And so, in this explanation of helping people to understand that how I do things or why I see things the way that I do, and I know it's gonna be some sassy people that feel some type of way. Oh man, he's not sympathetic to our needs, and I just want to get my panky and my blankie, and I want to lay down, and I want to play video games. Cool, play video games. I'm not telling you what you can't do. I'm just telling you to stop counting other people's pockets to justify how dusty you are. Nobody cares. They gonna act like they care. They gonna pretend like they really care. They gonna say, "Oh my God." They gonna give you a like for the algorithm on your Instagram post. You gonna put up your GoFundMe, and guess what? They gonna move right on along with their own regular life because everybody got problems. Everybody in the world got problems. I don't care who you are. Some dude's girl is getting buzzed down right now. He gonna have to deal with that and get up and go to work in the morning. Somebody's kid is bullying somebody else's kid, and they gonna have to get their kids together. Guess what? Do your job. Leave your personal issues and your problems and your sense of entitlement at the front lawn. Because guess what? I want my rent money. I'm a nice person. I am very, very cool. We all family until you miss a rent payment. Then we got problems. Now we gotta have a conversation. Oh man, I got laid off on my job. Oh yeah? Ah, word job. Oh, I'm getting divorced and you know, I said I wanted to be single until married and oh yeah? What that got to do with my rent though? I still got to pay my property taxes. Still got to pay insurance. What you got? What you got on my rent though? What you got on my rent though? Ah, word. That's messed up. The first is coming up though, right? The first is coming up though, right? What you got on my rent? I don't care how you get it. I don't care where you go to do it. $2,495 better be in my Venmo account on the first or the second, depending on if it's a weekend or a weekday. Otherwise, me and you and the Oakland County Sheriff is gonna have an appointment at 1200 Telegraph to get you on up out of this property. So now you got triple problems because and you're gonna be homeless. And you're gonna be homeless. Don't play. Don't play with my money, man. Listen, I don't care if you owe me $5 or $500,000. Don't play with my money. I'm coming to get it. I'm coming to get my money. I don't care if it costs me $10 to collect five. I'm coming to get my money. And if you don't have that mentality, if you don't understand what it takes to be a grown up, go back and live with your parents until you're ready for it. Because society don't owe you nothing. And the sense of entitlement that we got inside of United States of America has made us weak. You wasn't talking about that when you was over in Tulum. I see your Instagram photos. You wasn't talking about making sure that you had money for a rainy day fund. Remember you said you didn't like Dave Ramsey? You didn't like the baby steps? You didn't like baby steps. Remember that? Remember that you was making it rain and busting it down for a real one? Remember you was tossing bottles and having a whole bunch of fun with your friends and family? Where my rent money at? Where my dollars at? You made it rain on them, make it rain on me. I'm just telling you, grow up. Grow up. Do what you got to do to feed your family and stop putting generational curses on your kids, forcing them to take out student loans. Let's get started with the show. I didn't know that this Monday was going to go like this. I just wanted to have a quick conversation. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats and these cash apps, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Tap into the Patreon. Tap into the Patreon so that we ain't out here looking dusty and you ain't dependent on the federal government or Anton from AntonDaniels.com to feed your family. Because guess what? I ain't got nothing but $40 for you. I, 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 I ain't got nothing. $40 is my limit. $40. You can get that for free. You ain't even got to do nothing. That's my max. When people ask me for money on the street, oh man, can I get some money? I missed it. When they be lying to me, I missed the bus. And my mom, I gotta go see my mom. I said, all right, cool. What you need, big dog? I need $55 to catch this and to catch a great. All right, listen. I know you lying to me, but my limit is $40. I got $40 for the ladies, $40 for you. You gonna lie to me? All right, I'll take the 40. Okay. All right, here we go. $40. Let me go get it. I got $40 on me. Let me see something. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, 40. That's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. $40. 10, 20. That's the 20 right there. That's 20. That's the 40. I ain't got nothing else for you. Get my rent. Go get my money. Shout out to my dog ESDC in the building on Cash App and my homie Mike that dude running it up. Shout out to my Cash Appers. I appreciate y'all for continuing to support the platform. Also on top of that, Spider Clamp says, Merry Christmas, Mr. Daniels. Thank you thank you for being you, brother. Can't wait to see what the future has in store for all of us. I am with it, Spider Clamp. Thank you, my friend. Camille Edwards says, good day, AD. What trends are you noticing and how brands collaborate with creators and how can creatives capitalize on those trends? I just think that brands understand going direct to consumer and influencer is much better than doing a national advertisement unless you actually can justify that and reaching those eyeballs. The biggest thing is people are more careful and brands are more careful on their target audience. And that's what people don't understand. People just want to get brand deals, but you got to get the deals that actually, if you selling grown-up diapers, but you don't speak to older people, then it doesn't make sense for you to take a brand deal from a grown-up diaper company. If you are a man that can't grow a beard, but then you go get a beard oil endorsement, it doesn't make sense, right? So brands are more careful how they spending their marketing dollars because nowadays what's important for them is infrastructure and marketing, infrastructure and marketing, infrastructure and marketing. They can scale up to whatever they want to scale up to, but they need to find the right creators. And so you need to target your audience or make sure you're getting brand deals with specific things that are best for your audience. If your audience don't resonate, you got an all-female audience, but you're talking about a male product, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the biggest thing is that when you collaborating in the trends in the industry is what can you sell and what is it that your audience is going to benefit from? And more importantly, never push something out to your audience in a brand deal that you wouldn't use yourself, that you wouldn't leverage yourself. Because the minute that they realize that all you're doing is selling them a product, but you're not giving them a great service or you're not giving them the best recommendation, they're going to tune away from it. So it's not just about the brands, it's about the value add. Phenomenal question, Camille. I love that. I appreciate you. Swiper says, last of what I got. Love the content. AD 2025. Shout out to Swiper. I appreciate you. We're going to pray for you to get more than $2 though, big dog. I want you to have a prosperous 2025. Fukari Ferry says, thank you for all of the pre-surgical prayers. The procedure was a success and I'm on the road to recovery. Can't wait to meet y'all at the Bag Chasers meetup. Yeah, I'm going to be in DC this Sunday and Monday for the inauguration and a Black Conservative Ball. All of that information is in my community tab and it's on my Instagram, so y'all can go and check that out. if you're gonna be in DC this weekend to celebrate Trump's victory. Oh, I'm sorry, not this weekend. The weekend of the inauguration, whatever day that is. All right. Got my Airbnb for the inauguration. Meet me, Keyshawn White. Come kick it with your boy. AR Smitty says the work is the work. Facts. Shout out to my dog Rashad McCants. Jerry says I'm convinced the beanie has Black Air Force One energy. Make sure y'all tune into the Q show tonight. It's gonna be awesome. Robinson says, "What up, Anton? How's your day going? Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal." Latrell is in the building. Shout out to Latrell. I appreciate everybody that's holding me down. Again, make sure y'all tune into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Shout out to my sponsor, Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. Tune into the Q show tonight. And then we got the content creation on Patreon as far as making sure we get that budget video to y'all. Let's get it popping, all right? Y'all ready to get started with the show? Let's get it started with a prayer. Lord, we ask you to take away all of the sassiness. Take away the victim mentality from our men and from our women, but absolutely from our men. Bless them to get a set of balls and for them to walk handily with those balls into places without any shame of what being a man is. Help us to understand that we need to put away our female sassiness and the females that want to be like men and want to compete with men and want equal. Bless them to put away their femininity so that they can go out here and work like men and take care of business, and for us to no longer be victims going into the new year and in this live stream, but for us to put our pride down, take our L's, learn from it, and then let the words that come out of our mouths be edifying for our souls so that we can get that bag and then change the trajectory of our family lineage. I love you. I appreciate you. In Jesus' name, amen. If your pastor ain't praying for you like that, and I'm not a pastor, but if your prayer warriors ain't really giving you that, if they just gonna give you that surface level prayer, tell them I don't need it. I can do that for myself. Tell me what I need to get some money. All right, let's go ahead. You wasn't expecting that prayer, our Lord? Y'all better stay in y'all femininity. All right, y'all, let's get popping. Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on in these streets. All right, first things first, a woman dies after being set on fire at a subway station. Check it out.
Police are calling it one of the most depraved crimes a person could possibly commit against another human being. A woman is dead after being set on fire in the subway, and tonight a person of interest is in custody. Fox 5's Kendall Green is in Lower Manhattan Live now, where police just issued an update on this unbelievable case. Kendall.
Hi, good evening, Arthur. Police just announced an arrest in this torture by murder, and they said that this victim didn't even know the suspect. So let's take a look at the video from the scene earlier today. Now, around 7:30 this morning, the victim and the suspect both rode the F train to the end of the line at the Stillwell Avenue subway station. Now, police say the victim was seated when a 33-year-old man, a migrant from Guatemala, who police haven't identified yet, approached the female victim and set her on fire with his lighter, her clothes fully engulfed. Now, online videos of the incident, which we're choosing not to air, shows the victim standing on the car, taking steps with her entire body in flames, with the suspect apparently in that same video sitting on a bench just outside of the subway car before he got away. At least one responding officer appears on scene and captured clear images of the suspect on the body-worn camera video. Now, so far, again, police say the woman and the man didn't know each other, made no contact before the incident, and it remains unclear why he did it now. But police are crediting 3 high schoolers who recognized the suspect at the J in York Street station and called them.
Officers who were on patrol on an upper level of that station smelled and saw smoke and went to investigate. What they saw was a person standing inside the train car, fully engulfed in flames. With the help of an MTA employee and a fire extinguisher, the flames were put out. Unfortunately, it was too late, and the victim was pronounced on the scene.
Once again, the cameras put us there and put us in that direction, and we were able to figure out that he was involved in it later on after we got the camera video footage back.
Now, police say the person of interest had a lighter in his pocket when they apprehended him, and he had a gray hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, and a dark-colored knit hat with a red band and brown boots. And police also said they're checking with their state database just to confirm his identity before they release it to the public. But that's the latest.
So let's put this in perspective, because I'm gonna deep dive into this a little bit more on the Anton Daniels channel later on today. First and foremost, this is not an American. This is an illegal migrant from Guatemala that torched a lady on a train in New York City. Let me say that again for the people in the back, because I know that y'all so, oh my God, no, anybody should be able to come over here and let's wait until they torch your grandmother and burn her up to death and watch her. This is an illegal migrant. For all of y'all that want us to leave borders open, there are so many hundreds and thousands of people that have had crimes perpetuated against them, died, grown, young, old. These people have been let out from the prisons and the jails of their own countries, and they have come here and done some of the most egregious things. And y'all think that it's okay to just leave the borders open. Here's my real question for y'all. Because when something like this happens, it always goes back to the top, in my opinion. It's not just the mayor. He's need to be held accountable for it. It's not just the voters. They need to be held accountable for it. When Biden gets this across his desk, or Kamala Harris get this across their desk, and they are the ones that advocated for leaving the borders open, but how many lives should they be accountable for and responsible for? Because this directly goes back to the people that decided that this was the best policy for America. So when Tom Homan goes over there to Chicago and New York and he says, listen, anybody that's over here in this country, they got to come in here legally and they got to come in here the right way, because illegal migration into this country will not be tolerated and people need to be deported. How many of y'all are going to stand in his way? How many of y'all are going to stand in his way? This is just quick hits. I can't go on no whole soliloquy. I got to continue over with the show. In addition to that, Blae Lively apparently made a sexual harassment allegation. Check it out.
Tonight, scandal rocking Hollywood as the fallout begins from Blae Lively's explosive allegations against co-star Justin Baldoni.
Crazy.
Talent agency giant WME telling the New York Times it dropped Baldoni from its roster just one day after Lively filed a legal complaint accusing him of sexual harassment and retaliation.
I want to see you again.
Now you see me.
You know what I mean.
Baldoni starred in and directed the box office hit It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence based on the best-selling book by romance novelist Colleen Hoover. Hoover herself coming out in support of Lively on social media this weekend, urging her to never change, never wilt. The allegations first made public in a New York Times investigation by Megan Twohey, whose reporting on sex abuse in Hollywood helped trigger the Me Too movement.
Why do you think it's important in this moment?
It's really a story that raises questions about the integrity and authenticity of the online narratives that exist today and to what extent they're being manipulated by people for hire.
The 80-page legal complaint, a precursor to a possible lawsuit, alleges in graphic detail harassment by Baldoni on the production set, including kissing and touching Lively in unwanted ways during filming, and repeatedly commenting on her appearance, weight, and sexual history. An attorney for Baldoni calling the allegations categorically false. Lively and Baldoni never promoted the film together after its release, sparking rumors of a feud, with Lively frequently coming under fire online.
I'm wondering if Blake is actually the problem.
Something she now alleges was the result of a smear campaign masterminded by Baldoni's crisis PR team.
This really reveals a new playbook. This raises questions about who else is sort of being targeted. I mean, to use their own language, they use the terms social manipulation.
The legal battle only beginning, the PR battle raging on.
You know what I'm going to say, right? You know what I'm going to say, right? I, by default, Do not believe anybody. I need to see the camera footage. I need to see the proof. I need to see where people are genuinely being assaulted. Because listen, sexual harassment, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but the whole idea of sexual harassment could be interpreted any type of way. And trust me, we've had to take extensive classes in corporate America to determine what sexual harassment can be. Sexual harassment can very much be somebody saying something that you take the wrong way from a complimentary perspective. It could just be words that are tossed in your direction. And so we are getting into dangerous times. I do not believe by default that Blae Lively was being sexually harassed. Nope. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm saying that I want to see the proof. I'm saying that I want to see the proof. I don't believe nothing after Duke Lacrosse, after Jay-Z, after any of these allegations that's coming out against these people. It was a guy that just got out of jail that just did almost a 30-year prison sentence for something that he was accused of that he didn't do. So all I'm saying is I need to see the proof. I need to see the proof. I'm not taking anybody's word for it anymore. And then last but not least, we got monsters on the loose out here. A man was arrested for spraying bug killer on food inside of a Mesa, Arizona Walmart. Check it out.
It's kind of dumb. Yeah, like there's just no point.
It's a travesty. It's a travesty.
A prank taken too far, landing 27-year-old Charles Smith in jail tonight.
Hopefully he gets his just due.
Smith is now facing multiple charges, including a felony for messing with produce at a Walmart in Mesa Thursday. He filmed himself doing it and posted it on his social media. The video was deleted, but police sent us this screenshot showing the bug repellent court docs say Smith stole from the same store, then sprayed it all over fruits, vegetables, and rotisserie chickens as part of a prank. Shoppers are downright upset.
Pranks should be actually funny. Like, if it's like hurting others
I have no
process,
idea what
like,
the hell is happening out here in these streets.
Why would you do that?
According to court paperwork, Smith is a self-proclaimed troll, posting pranks on social media to cash out a monthly check anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 for his content.
I think social media has got people doing crazy things out here.
Police say Smith did try undoing his wrong 10 minutes after the incident when his followers called him out on it. Police say Smith grabbed some of the produce, put it in a cart, and wheeled it to the back of the store. Walmart tells us they trashed about $930 worth of food and sanitized the area, but it's unclear if any shoppers took the contaminated food home.
And it's unfortunate that somebody would mess up their whole lives potentially for something on social media for views.
Mesa police say Tempe detectives identified Smith because they have an open case against him, and the city of Tempe also has an active warrant for Smith. So
y'all gonna mess around and find out. Y'all gonna mess around and find out. I'm gonna just say that. All of this extra pranking, because obviously y'all don't really know the difference between a prank. A prank is putting up a washer sheet as a ghost on the back of the door and scaring your mama. That's a prank. It's not going to the grocery store and spraying bug killer spray over groceries that could potentially injure and harm and kill people that buy that stuff. And y'all doing it all for the gram? You doing it all for TikTok? Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right? Jesus Christ. Let me read some of these super chats and the cash apps, and then we're going to continue on. Shout out to my girl Carmen says, happy holidays. Happy holidays, Carmen. I appreciate you. Carzell says, realest prayer ever. I'm going to hold you down, Carzell. Marcus, shout out to Marcus, says, very demonic act. My condolences to her family. We're going to talk more about that on the Anton Daniels channel. Good morning, big dog. Is coaching off the table for 2025? Sent the email your way. No, not entirely. I'm just getting things together. We're going to wait till after the inauguration, and we're going to figure out how things go from there. I'll let y'all know. Trust me, I'll let you know. Aaron L. says, you can say hi the wrong way, and it's harassment. Facts. That's why I don't just take everything just lightly. I need to know the details and the context before I allow for people to just throw people under the bus and say any wild things. Shout out to my dog, Philip. Salute for representing us when you meet President Trump in January. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you, Philip Sadiq, but it won't be the first time that I've met Trump. It will be the second time that I've been able to meet Trump, but it is absolutely awesome heading to D.C. If anybody going to be in D.C. on January 19th, details is inside of my community tab on the Anton Daniels page, or you could just follow me on Instagram and see the details there. I'll probably post it on X. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But shout out to my dog, Philip Sadiq. I appreciate you. Also want to acknowledge the big joker. Says illegal migrants doing folks in as the Biden administration sells off the border wall materials. Democrats burning the country down on the way out. And then they want to act like it's a peaceful transition of power. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going for it. I also want to give a shout out to my dog. Shout out to my dog Chris James and Philip Jackson. Shout out to Philip Jackson in the building. Man, Philip, you can't be looking out for me like that on Cash App. Phil Jackman in the building with the 100 ball. Jesus. I feel so blessed because I never asked for it. But I always want to make sure that I acknowledge the people that hold me down. All right, y'all, we got a full show today. Tune in, buckle up. Let's get it, Buttercup. Shout out to my dog, Phil Jackson. Shout out to everybody on Instagram. Shout out to everybody on Cash App. Shout out to everybody on PayPal. All of that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't have to do it, but I always like to acknowledge the people that hold me down. All right? All right, y'all. We got a full show. Let's get to it. Nothing left to do but to get to it. NYPD. So I want to go over to New York. It seems like New York and Chicago, don't worry, we're going to bring Brandon Johnson to the front of the congregation. It seems like New York and Chicago just can't get their life together. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's in the food. I don't know if y'all got too many migrants going on over in those cities, but it just seems like New York and Chicago can't get their act together. And I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. It's confusing, it's perplexing, and I'm trying to figure out why you guys are always at the front of the congregation. Is it because y'all got so many people? Is it because y'all burning people up inside of the subways? All of that. So let's go ahead and see what's happening with this whole situation with the NYPD's Chief Jeffrey Madry. Check it out.
Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch saying she has appointed Edward Thompson as the interim chief of internal affairs effective immediately. That she says this is part of her campaign to rid this department of corruption as the investigation continues into those sexual allegation claims made against former chief of department Jeffrey Madry by a department lieutenant. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch announcing John Chell as the interim chief of department, filling the role of former chief of department Jeffrey Madry, who resigned on Friday. Madry is facing sexual misconduct accusations. He's accused of demanding sexual favors from his lieutenant, Quaitisha Epps, in exchange for excessive overtime. Epps holds an administrative position in Madry's office. A spokesperson for the NYPD says in a statement, quote, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch accepted the resignation of Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry Friday night, effective immediately. The NYPD takes all allegations of sexual misconduct seriously and will thoroughly investigate this matter. Epps filed a complaint against the city with the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission on Saturday, claiming that Madry engaged in quid pro quo sexual harassment by coercing her to perform unwanted sexual favors in exchange for overtime opportunities in the workplace. Epps said that when she finally pushed back at the demands, Madry retaliated by claiming she was abusing overtime, prompting the department to launch a review. City data shows Epps earned more than $400,000 in fiscal year 2024.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm back. This woman made over $400,000 in an administrative job in the office running up a bag. Let me say it again for the people in the back. This woman made over $400,000, which includes $170,000 plus in base salary and over $200,000, over $230,000 in overtime. In overtime. As a NYPD lieutenant at a desk job. At a desk job. When the bombshell allegations came out, is when she then filed her harassment sexual allegation charges. Let's continue.
More than half of it was overtime. An attorney for Epps says she was suspended without pay despite putting in her retirement notice earlier this week. A spokesperson for City Hall responding to the allegations says in a statement, quote, "We are deeply disturbed by these allegations and the NYPD is investigating this matter. Mayor Adams is working in close coordination with Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch as the NYPD conducts a separate department-wide review to ensure no high-ranking officers are using their power inappropriately. We will refrain from commenting further to avoid jeopardizing either investigation." Madre has been the subject of other sexual misconduct allegations in the past, including one from NYPD Captain Gabrielle Walls, who says she dealt with repeated unwanted advances. She filed an amended complaint in a lawsuit against the city last Wednesday, alleging that
so we got a Me Too situation. So now she's filing an amended lawsuit to get some money now that she sees that he's under duress with this other chick, with Quantamisha, whatever her name is. We're going to get there. Let's continue.
Madre sexually harassed her from the years 2015 to 2022. Madre joined the police force in 1991 at the age of 20 and rose through the ranks to become chief of patrol in 2021 before being promoted to chief of department last December.
And back out here live as John Chell moves into the position of chief of department. His role will be temporarily filled by Philip Rivera. He most recently served as the chief of transportation. Now, we're still waiting to hear back from an attorney for Madry. Epps' lawyer says they will get back to us during regular business hours. The Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, saying that his office is also investigating this matter.
All right, so let's deep dive a little bit, y'all. Let's not just go surface level. Let's deep dive. All right, so this is what we have. This is what we were able to find for Quantisha. Her name is Quantisha. I don't know if they calling her Quantisha, because you listen. Let me tell you something. One thing about our people is that the TH is silent. The TH is silent. We always like to finesse our names. So I don't know if it's the news is pronouncing it Quantisha. I'm looking at Quantisha Elps. Okay, so Quantisha made over $400,000 last year at a desk job. Okay, all right. Jeffrey, who is the NYPD chief, recently resigned amid allegations, but I like to say forced out. Forced out. All right. Let's continue. Top earner, retiring early, astronomical overtime pay is being investigated. Goes on to say, she made for more than $400,000 last year, and she filed for retirement. So the details matter. She filed for retirement this week and then was suspended amid an internal affairs probe into her astronomical overtime. Lieutenant Quantisha Epps will retire just shy of 20 years with the department. Sources said an early exit that will impact her pension and cost her $12,000 a year supplement for cops who reach the 2-decade mark. Let me say that again. Because she's in her 19th year. The details matter. She's in her 19th year. Because this investigation was launched against her, she decided to file for early retirement before her 20th year, which will cost her an additional $12,000 a year supplemental for cops who reach the 2-decade mark. How many of you guys are willing to give up an additional $1,000 a month? How many of y'all are willing to give up an additional $1,000 a month for the rest of your life when you only got a few more months of work to do? Leaving the money on the table is seemingly uncharacteristic for Epps, who raised eyebrows by pulling in roughly $204,000 in overtime last year in her administrative job. No wonder everybody got high expectations, because y'all getting that bag. They said she was also told she'd be put back on patrol, an apparently unappetizing prospect after her cushy desk job. She said there is no way that she going back on patrol. There was no way. Nope. Why go on patrol when I can push papers? This is Quantisha. I just want y'all to know what we dealing with. This is Quantisha. This is Quantisha Epps. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't deserve her pay or she didn't work it out, do what she got to do to get what she want. But now I understand why everybody feeling entitled and why everybody feel as though men, they can get the highest men. Men are supposed to take care of them because you finessing taxpayers. This is her. This is her. All right. This is also her. This is also her. Let's take a minute. Take it in. Take it in. I'm not one to judge, but let's take it in. Let's take it in. Now y'all tell me. Y'all tell me. Is it worth $400,000 a year? Is it worth $400,000? Now, let me find these pictures. What's her name? Quantisha Epps. $400,000. Crazy. Crazy. Dog, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. I don't know what the heck is going on. This is insane. Let's find something better. Let's find something better to do. Here we go. Bam. Oh, man. I guess it really don't matter when you're using taxpayer funds, right? The ladies should be offended at this. The ladies should be offended at this because they messing up the game. They messing up the game. The ladies should be offended at these accusations. The ladies should be offended at this. Real talk. Real talk. Let me take my watch off. I feel like I'm about to get robbed. Put on my Apple Watch. Now, the question that we have to ask ourselves here, ladies and gentlemen, is do you believe Do you believe that Quantisha was being sexually harassed, especially considering that the money certainly went into her bank account? She was a top cop earning over $400,000 a year in 2024. She's been getting to that bag for a long time now. Do you think, now I'm going to leave this up to the court of public opinion. Do you guys think that Quantisha actually was being harassed? Do you think that she was a willing participant? Or do you think that she was finessing, and then once she got caught getting all of that money, that she decided to file a sexual harassment lawsuit to preserve her bag? You know where I stand on this. You know where I stand on this. I, by default, do not believe anything that is coming out of her mouth. I don't. I don't. Is it possible that Jeffrey Madry was out here selling, getting overtime for box, giving out overtime for box? Perhaps. Perhaps. And that is not right. That is absolutely not the right thing to do with taxpayer dollars. But we don't know. Is it possible that she was willingly giving up box for overtime? Maybe. Is it also a much stronger possibility, considering the details of this case, that once she was exposed by people being able to look up, and a lot of people don't know this, but if you work for a public institution, or if you work in most instances for, you know, uh, anything taxpayer dollars related, then most of the time you can look up whatever that is because we're using taxpayer dollars. You can look up what everybody is making. So all I'm saying is, in my opinion, if you're asking me what my opinion is of what Quantisha was doing inside of that office in order to get $400,000, I don't in any way, shape, or form don't believe that she was not a willing participant. If not at all, one that was doing a finessing. I guess the real question that we should be asking ourselves is, what won't you do for $400,000? I mean, it's easy to give it out with my money, right? What won't people do for $400,000? There's very few things that I can think of that 99.9% of the population not gonna do for 400,000. But this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I say you gotta pray for character. You have to pray for character on your way to the top, because character is going to keep you in places where your talent is going to take you and your work ethic is going to drive you. And most people are not ready for success. Most people are not ready for success. Oh, that one is a little bit better. Let me see. I see you, baby. 51, no. 400,000. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't care what happens. I'm not giving you that. Anyways, the early retirement after 19 years means she'll receive roughly half of what she put into her pension, but she's still slated to collect about $16,000 a month from her pension. It's good to be a cop in New York City. Let me go and figure, I guess worst case scenario, if everything go wrong in my life, I'm going to see if I can apply to be a cop in New York City. Might have to see some burn victims, might get beat up by a couple migrants here and there, but they living life good over there. Department has 30 days to investigate before the pension goes into full effect. That's why she tried to get that junk out immediately. But anyway, shout out to Quantisha and shout out to Jeffrey. Tax dollars is going crazy everywhere. I can't wait for these government audits to take place. We need government audits not only on a national level, but we need them on local levels too. And we need them in our governor's offices. Anyways, neither here nor there. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. I see some of y'all saying she must got that gorilla grip. How would you find out? How would you find out? How would y'all be able to accurately find out whether or not somebody got some gorilla grip? You can't even get through my door. You can't get through my door? Mm-mm. The minute that you come asking for, I'm sorry, Mr. Daniels, can I get some overtime? And you got your dress on, you got your NYPD officer's outfit, and your button is a little bit lower than usual. Be like, man, Quantisha over there asking for some overtime with her shirt down. You know what I'm saying? That's how we be laughing at people like that. Man, you know Quantisha was over there trying to get that overtime for me. Well, and my homie gonna say, was she trying to bust it down for a real one? Man, ain't nobody thinking about Quantisha. Quantisha? Man, you crazy. I ain't messing with no Quantisha. She crazy, bro. Auntie? Auntie? Can I get some overtime? Can I get some over? I need some overtime. Quantisha, don't you already make $174,000 a year? I know. My car note due. I'm gonna think about it for a minute and I'm gonna say, man, get on out of here, Quantisha. We are. Listen, thinking about it don't mean that you consider it. Thinking about it means that you're trying to evaluate what the hell is going on at the time. What you doing, Quantisha? Where all your money going? You know, I've been trying to do this and do that. Unbutton her top a little bit more. No, hey. I don't see nothing. I'm getting out of there. I don't want to talk to you. Don't come to me unbuttoning your shirt talking about getting no overtime. You gets nothing. You gets nothing from me. This is why you got to be careful who you elect, because most people are fallible, even for a 51-year-old Quantisha. Let me read some of these super chats and we're going to continue on with the show. I'm just going to give it to you the real. I know they're not going to tell you that on these national networks, but I'm going to tell you the truth. That's what really happened. Y'all keep saying, I bet she got that gorilla grip. No. P. Shank says, good morning, Anton. What's up, P. Shank? How you feel, baby girl? High Tolerance says, complicit and max the box to the fullest. 200,000 in overtime in 1 year. 10 encounters, 20,000 around. Math ain't mathing. Math ain't mathing. I'm gonna need 24-hour access to that box like Burger King. Y'all giving up 20,000 for the box? Jeez, y'all putting your jobs on the line for that? Courteous Contemplations, yeah, you will. Courteous Contemplations says 400,000 plus the Chiefs pension plus the lawsuit money. How much box can be worth? I guess she will show us. I'm gonna stay on top of this. Biden commutes 37 death sentences. Yeah, I read about that. The H is silent, but the 304s never are. Yeah. So, AD, apparently you've been giving us the wrong information. You said real estate was the fastest way to become rich. Apparently, it's a receptionist. No, real estate is the best way to preserve wealth. The fastest way to get to a bag is to be a woman with your shirt unbuttoned down here. You know what I'm saying? Scooby, y'all got a life hack. Scooby Don says, nah, AD, if she retire regular, she gets 12,000 monthly. If she does disability, she gets 19,000. Fam, not including the Social Security checks. That's 12,000 a year. She gonna miss it. Defined as box, proxy box. Defined as box being paid for the taxpayer. Man, that's crazy. High Tolerance says apparently she was a cancer survivor and perhaps leveraged that into a desk duty. Still, ain't no. I don't care. Listen, I don't care what kind of survival you done. I survived growing up in the hood. Do I deserve? Let me be quiet. Chase Barnes in the building. Shout out to my dog, Chase Barnes. Happy Monday, ADM peeps. In my year plus listening to AD, one of the many things he speaks about when he does stories like this, AD always says, pray and ask God for character. Character it is vital. It is imperative. It is so important. You gonna get you a little Quantisha coming through and you gonna mess up your whole life because you did not pray for character. She was busting it down for a real one. That's a fact. Popping police for a real one. That's a fact. J Ben says, oh, wait. That's that older women we like. That's that I like. Look at that neck. Her straps tell me the suction in that neck. This is the Millionaire Morning Show. What y'all got going on? That Jada Fade is diabolical. Debauchery, though, looks and performance rarely intersect. Lip service. Shout out to my dog, J Ben. Chris Cunningham says, according to my sources, Miss Epps stopped the activities and he started investigating her OT. Oh, so you can't stop now. You can't stop now. My sources also says he did it. Quantisha sounded like Felicia from Friday. Kamala need that overtime for campaign debt. LaVon LA23 says, good morning, AD. Missed a couple shows. My bad. You forgiven, baby. Been so busy. I celebrated my birthday this past Saturday. Was great, but so thankful for another year with the family. Happy birthday to everybody that got their birthday in December and is looking forward to those January birthdays. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, y'all. Let's move over. Hakeem. Prince Hakeem. Prince Hakeem. You will soil royals. To Queens you go. My son. Hey, didn't James Earl Jones pass away? He was a voice for Mufasa. He was a voice for Mufasa, wasn't he? Man, I miss James Earl Jones. Prince Hakeem. Hakeem Jeffries, who I like to call, hey, somebody time out Almighty Suspect. Somebody time out Almighty Suspect, because the one thing that we not going to do, and two things is for certain, is to get out of line when it comes to being sassy inside of the chat. Let's continue on with the show. I don't know if we should time him out or block him. Just time him out from now. Let's see if he learned his lesson. Prince Hakeem, who I like to call the fake Obama, is now a little bit bitter along with the rest of the Democrats and what happened during the spending bill. They didn't get their 40% raises. They couldn't push through all of their agenda-laden prospectus inside of the spending bill, and they're mad at Elon Musk and Trump as a result of it. All right? So Hakeem is now saying that the Democrats are not going to save Republicans, including Mike Johnson, when they need them. Check it out.
Hello, Leader Jeffries. Great to see you. I just wanted to start by asking you, I just gave my take on what a chaotic, hectic week this was, where Democrats essentially saved the day. But what did you learn from this week?
Well, it was important for the American people to see the beginnings of what is going to take place over the next 2 to 4 years, which is chaos, dysfunction, and extremism, and a Republican Party that is not really interested in helping out working class Americans, but is really determined to enact massive tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and well-connected corporations. That was the centerpiece of Donald Trump and Elon Musk's demand with respect to recklessly trying to suspend the debt ceiling and secure a $4 to $5 trillion blank check. Thankfully, we stopped that from happening.
Oh, so it was the Democrats that stopped it from happening. Wait. Now, my memory could be a little bit foggy, but if it serves me correctly, Plan A, which was unilaterally rejected by the Trump administration, which obviously we don't even see Biden or Kamala Harris anywhere to be seen whatsoever, so we don't even know what their opinion is. They just MIA, just disappeared, out giving speeches, trying to get some more donor money to cover for that Kamala Harris blunder that we seen last November. All right? But what you guys voted in, which included giving yourself a 40% raise to the tune of $70,000 per year, was that bipartisan agreement that you guys had all agreed on and voted on to also include a stadium and taxpayer dollars used for things that we absolutely do not agree with. And Trump is the one that killed that spending bill. Now, we know that people like Hakeem Jeffries like to revamp and redo things to make it seem like, oh my God, we the one that did this. We the one that got things together. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. This is why Hakeem Jeffries, they say he's in line to replace Nancy Pelosi. They say that Hakeem Jeffries is in line to be one of the most powerful Democrats inside of Congress to replace Nancy Pelosi. But as of what I see right now, all I see is lies.
It's been quite a week, and one of the things I talked about a bit here, Leader Jeffries, is that Elon Musk, we saw Elon Musk take kind of a powerful role in his power over the Republican caucus. That surprised me, I guess. Maybe it shouldn't have. Did anything about how he wielded his power surprise you?
Well, many people throughout the Capitol are saying that he has perhaps emerged as the leader of the Republican Party moving forward. And we'll have to see how that plays itself out over the next few weeks, next few months, and next few years. As House Democrats, our position is simple. There are three things that we should all be focused on in connection with the American people. First, lowering costs. Second, bigger paychecks for hardworking American taxpayers. And third, securing safer communities. That's going to be our North.
What is Hakeem talking about? This is the party of defund the police. This is the party that supports illegal migration into these blue cities. This is the party of war. Do they just, honest to God, and I'm genuinely wondering this, do they just say stuff? Or is the Democrats going through a rebrand and they don't know that we know what they were saying during the campaign season or what they did over the last 4.5 years? What is he talking about? How is the Democratic Party any of these things that he said when they are the ones that literally is doing some of the worst things and trying to remove funding from everything that keeps your community safe? This is insane.
Start moving forward, and we'll see whether the incoming administration is prepared to join us on behalf of the American people.
Join you.
I know there were some, I listed a number of them, pieces that were in this bipartisan agreement that were stripped out of the bill before it went to the Senate. Some of them were saved in the Senate. But because of this whole chaos of this week, there has been questions about whether Mike Johnson is at risk of not being the Speaker of the House in a couple of weeks. What do you think?
I think that's a real risk, and there will be no Democrats available to save him or the extreme MAGA Republicans from themselves based on the breaching of a bipartisan agreement that reflected priorities that were good for the American people. We're going to have to continue to work on several of those as we move forward, including plussing up resources for community health centers, which is a bipartisan priority that Republicans walked away from, even though it benefits people in urban America, rural America, small town America, the heartland of America, as well as Appalachia. But we'll have the ability to wage those battles over the next few weeks and the next few months, given that this is only a short-term continuing resolution that will expire on March 14th.
And that means that vote, just for everybody paying attention at home, is going to come up again. There's going to be a need to raise the debt limit to keep the government funding. I just listed how there were 170 Republicans, or 100 more than that, who voted for this bill, even though Trump was threatening primary opponents. Do you think, you've been through this before, you were in the minority the last time, not in as powerful a position. Do you think he's lost a hold on the caucus that he had before?
That's an open question, and it will be very interesting, but that certainly is one of the narratives that perhaps has emerged over the last few days in terms of what we saw in the Congress, a willingness by some of my colleagues, including far-right extremists in the House Republican Conference, to defy Donald Trump around the debt ceiling in particular, which means that notwithstanding their plan to stick the American people with trillions of dollars of debt in order to jam tax cuts down the throats of the American people, in part by cutting Social Security and Medicare benefits, that Democrats will remain united in pushing back against that. And Donald Trump is going to have to find the votes for that reckless scheme amongst House Republicans and House Republicans alone.
Is there anything from navigating being in the minority during a first term that you're applying now as leader of the caucus?
It's important for us to stay calm, stay present at all times, because the margin is going to be extremely narrow during the first 100 days of the new administration. The margins will be about 217 Republicans and 215 Democrats. Even at full strength, House Republicans will be at 220, will be at 215. That's the narrowest majority of any party since 1931. And so we've got to stay calm through all of the turbulence that the Republicans are going to try to visit on the American people in order to defend hardworking American taxpayers. We have to be present and in Washington to make sure that our leverage can shine through on behalf of the American people. And we, of course, have to stay unified in fighting for the things that matter, which first and foremost is to lower costs for everyday Americans, for working class Americans, and for middle class Americans.
I don't trust Hakeem Jeffries even a little bit. You know, the one thing that Obama had is Obama always had the ability to communicate. Like, he was kind of a lot more smooth. He was more chill. You know what I'm saying? He could really get it popping, all of that stuff. Hakeem Jeffries, he's like a robot. He's almost like the Manchurian Candidate, but without the suaveness. He's like an AI robot. He lies. He doesn't give any any real context to what he's saying. He just speaks in generalities all the time. He makes wild threats and say what they ain't gonna do. Y'all need to get in there and do y'all job. Y'all need to get in there and do y'all job. He just says a whole lot without saying anything at all. And I never liked Hakeem Jeffries. He was never our guy. He never seemed like the type of person that you can trust to do anything and take care of business. And all he's doing is continuing to pivot so that he can create more visibility for himself and become more popular. I see that happening with Hakeem Jeffries. I see Jasmine Crockett pop up every other day on MSNBC, and she's always spewing a narrative about how she doesn't agree with Trump and how she doesn't agree with Elon Musk. And I started to react to a video that you guys sent me of Jasmine Crockett. But Jasmine Crockett, she needs to atone for and account for all of the stuff that she promoted under the Kamala Harris regime and how she supported her to become president of the United States of America. You know, I'm so thankful. I seen a conversation from Ben Carson on a stage, and he was talking about how beneficial it was. And I'll probably go over that speech maybe tomorrow or maybe on the Anton Daniels channel. But he was talking about how beneficial it was for the American people to actually not get Trump in 2020 because we didn't appreciate it. We didn't appreciate the cost cutting. We didn't appreciate the standing up for the American people. We was seriously just complaining about the fact that hurricane victims was not getting the help and the assistance that they desperately needed from this administration that's currently in office. For some reason, everybody is literally forgetting that we still have Kamala Harris and Biden in office. And one of the things that was very, very, very important to bring out, which I thought that Trump and JD Vance did beautifully, is they would often ask Kamala Harris, why aren't y'all doing something right now if this is what you want to do? You've had 3.5 years, almost 4 years, to save the middle class and lower cost of living and raise wages and take care of business and solve for our crisis when it came to the immigration issues and, you know, to rein in the trade deficit and fix what's going on with all of these wars with Russia and Ukraine and Taiwan and China and our international relations. You guys have had all of this time to take care of business, and you're already criticizing Trump, and he hasn't even taken office yet. You're already criticizing our current president, and he hasn't even taken office yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Up next, we got Brandon Johnson. We're going to bring him back to the front of the congregation because Brandon Johnson is just flat out disrespectful at this point. Chicago mayor. The missus says, what up, though? Shout out to the missus. I appreciate you. Kelly Hill. Shout out to Kelly. Says, hello, good afternoon. Love the show. I love you, too. Couple from Death Note. Heck of a name. You probably want to change that. Congress has the most millionaires, but they say one side is bad. We going to forget the insider trading, Nancy. Death Note also says the people should vote on their bread locally. Chase Barnes says, once again, my mind goes back to another 80 proverb. Losers can't tell winners what to do. Hakeem doesn't understand, man. I'm really on a roll with these 80 lessons I've recalled. That's because I got to continue to put that in, y'all. I got to continue to give y'all the game. I got to continue to put that in y'all. I also want to acknowledge a Cash Apper. Let me acknowledge my Cash App crew. Shout out to Rand Wilson. Says, remember what you said about older chicks? The red key. Them older women are the red key. Because they willing to do it all. Listen, older women, they have no pride when it comes to, let me be quiet. We're going to get there. We're going to get there on the Q show tonight. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. We got to go and bring Brandon Johnson to the front of the congregation, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second. Brandon, come on down to the Price is Right. Come on down to the Price is Right. This is what they say Brandon got going on over in Chicago, y'all.
Far-left Mayor Brandon Johnson facing calls to resign. It comes after the city's public schools CEO was fired Friday after he refused to take out a $300 million loan for a new teachers union contract. That is the same union that once employed Mayor Johnson. One op-ed arguing it is time for Johnson to resign, saying this, quote, "You have demonstrated you are not a mayor for all of Chicago, but only for your friends at the Chicago Teachers Union. You are willing to use your power to benefit those closest to you while using the children you say you care about as political cover for your disastrous decision making." Our next guest says this loan was all about Johnson's push to help illegal migrants, already costing his own taxpayers more than $500 million. That's with a B, billion dollars.
So Brandon Johnson, right after they pushed this vote through, and see, it makes me wonder, what exactly are they looking to do? What exactly what this budget was all about? One of the things that Chicago Red and Chicago Phillips Red has been saying since the beginning of time is one of the reasons why we're trying to push these tax raises and these egregious budget through over in Chicago, which they narrowly did. One of the reasons that they're trying to push this through is because they've been funding a migrant crisis. They've been funding a migrant crisis over in New York. They're not doing this because they're doing it for the people. They're doing this because they need extra funding for the migrant crisis. So this is the estimated cost of what they've already spent on the migrant crisis. From August 2022 through October of 2024. In 2 years, they've spent almost 300 estimated. Let me say that again. Estimated to have spent almost $300 million per year. I will tell you that that number is categorically false. It is 100% false. It is 100% off. They've spent significantly more money. And not only have they spent significantly more money, we're not even accounting for the things that you pay for every single day that they have access to that should be categorized as migrant spending. When you go to work every day, right? And for those of y'all that work in tech or you work in corporate America and you have budgets, and most of the time, even if you are a salaried employee, you still have to fill out timesheets. The reason that you got to fill out timesheets is because the company has to figure out how much money that they're putting aside for your department. When they're doing their yearly budget, we're going to go over it inside of the Patreon, and we're going to tie this back to your own personal finances. So make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. They allocate a certain amount of money for the budget. The only way that they're able to do that is by going through and seeing what is being billed to the company. So if you have 10 workers, let's just give a round number, making $200,000 a year each, then that means that those 10 workers tend to cost $2 million a year. Now, the company got to go through and they got to evaluate, hey, okay, is this department actually in value add? Do we need them? Do they need that much of a budget? Do they have any contractors outside of regular everyday employees? You know, what projects do they have going on? So on and so forth. And then they break down the budget based off a project. They break down the budget based off of how much they think that they're going to bring in revenue. And then that's how they determine what department is valuable, who needs to be laid off. If they then go through a law or where they need to have, you know, a boosting and hiring more people, they can figure out, okay, listen, if this is costing me $2-3 million a year in resources, then why wouldn't we then just hire an outside contractor to do it for $1.5 million? Ah, Ah. So you wonder why it's so much easier to get a contract as a consultant or a person that's coming in to pitch a product. In their mind, well, listen, we can have people that's in here that's costing us $3 million a year for whatever it takes. And then you got to get equipment and HR and all of this stuff. And then she talking about he busting them down for a real one. We ain't got to worry about that. We bring in outside contractors that's not employees of the company, pay them a one-time fee. They're going to come in, they're going to pitch the project. They're going to say, hey, listen, we can do this project for $1.5 million. One thing that I learned in corporate America is that the budgets are crazy. Why? Because they're not looking at the value add. They're looking at how much money they're saving by contracting it out. They might not even save any money because it might do cost overruns. There's a lot of other factors that go into it. They're looking at, well, listen, we could save us $1.5 million if we just hire out an independent contractor instead of paying them $3 million a year for a 2-year project. That's probably going to have cost overruns and cost us $7.5 million. So then when I come in and I say, okay, well, listen, this is what y'all want. This is what it's going to cost us. This is how many people I need for this job. This is how many people I need to actually work with you guys. I never undercut myself. Because first of all, you're going to go in talking about, yeah, man, give me $300,000 to be able to do this job because that sounds like a lot of money for you, and you're going to lose your shirt. That's A. B, you're undercutting yourself. C, you're overworking. And D, you're not really adding as much value. And the minute that they say, oh, you only want $300,000, you get crossed out anyway because you're too cheap and we don't think that you can really do the job because you don't even know how to price yourself correctly. This goes back specifically into the conversation about Brandon Johnson. Well, why? Because what I'm trying to tell you guys and what I'm explaining to you guys from a C student's perspective is that when Brandon Johnson and the Chicago officials say that they only spent $574 million on migrants, double it. Double it. Because that is just taxpayer monies that they took out for contracting services. That does not also include the billing that goes into police services and school budgets and class overruns and infrastructure updates and trash and sanitation. That does not include judges and crime and jailing and all of these different things that is not being accounted for. That does not include all of the different things that is not truly being accounted for that you as taxpayers are still paying for. So when they say that we're going to have a $942 million budget deficit come 2025, now you see how budgets work. Now you understand it a little bit differently. Don't worry. We got a more extensive expert class coming up in the Patreon this week during the live stream. Make sure y'all tab into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. That's just a round number that they can give y'all, to say, oh man, this is what we spent. Double it. Over $1 billion over the last 2 years, at least, I believe, is being spent on the migrant crisis in Chicago. And they're going to raise your property taxes, or they're going to charge you all a bag tax, or streaming tax, or this tax, or liquor tax, or this tax. Just taxing y'all to death.
Chicago resident Kata Truss joins us now with more. Kata, good morning. What a non-Christmas gift for this CEO, Pedro Martinez. What happened here?
Good morning. Basically, what happened is our mayor has decided that he wanted CEO Pedro Martinez to leave. They asked him to resign when he refused to secure the $300 million loan that the city wanted him to incur that would have put the city basically in a junk bond status and lowered the city's credit rating.
Let's stop there for a second. Let's break this down. Let me tell you why he's the worst mayor in Chicago. So what's being alleged is that he fired the person that was over the schools. Why did he fire the person that was over the schools? Because they were demanding that he take out a $300 million loan. Why was he asking them to take out a $300 million loan? They're alleging that they were using that monies to continue to fill budget gaps as well as support the migrant crisis, ongoing support of the migrant crisis that you guys are absolutely saying that you're against. What does that also do? That lowers your credit rating as a city. Yes, Credit rating as a city is a thing. So when you think of these legislators that say, oh man, we want to give back to the American people. Oh man, we're going to fund schools. Or these people that are running for the mayor's office or as aldermen, and they promising you all of this, they don't even understand how government works. They don't even understand how their own finances work. So what it does is it brings it into junk bond status. You know what junk bond status is as a city? It means that you're a subprime borrower. The same way that you're a subprime borrower when you go to the dealership and you say, hey man, I want that Charger Hellcat, red eye, demon time. You know what they say? All right, cool. So I got this 28% interest loan for you, buddy. And when you pay this over the next 10 years, the first 7 of them, you're not even going to be pulling into the principal. You're going to be paying interest. So it costs taxpayers. It costs taxpayers more money to borrow money, in which you guys shouldn't be borrowing money. You should be lowering costs and going back to pre-pandemic spending. The city of Chicago, it's going to cost you more to service the debt on loans that you already own. Why? Because the city of Chicago is now going into junk bond status because Brandon Johnson is borrowing his way to plugging budget deficits, as well as what's being alleged is supporting a migrant crisis. You guys are basically on a pathway into an alcohol river, and nobody is going to come save you. You are on a path to bankruptcy, and it is going to cost you more money. And it is going to be very bad. Why? Because we went through it here in Detroit. We went through it already. Our credit rating actually went up over the last year. We actually had a population increase over the last year. We are booming. I'm looking at these cranes. I'm looking at the buildings. I'm looking at the population increase. People are coming to the city. They're investing in it. I seen a couple people from Chicago over the weekend. I kicked it with. They said they're moving here. You are driving the city through incompetent leadership from a social studies teacher into bankruptcy, and the people are the ones that's going to pay for it. How much more can you guys take? How much more can you guys take? And now he bullying because they saying that he the one that told them to fire him because he wouldn't take out a $300 million loan. How much more can you guys take? Crazy.
And Pedro refused to adhere to that. Also, you know, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about, prior to our new elected school board being appointed, all of the board members resigned because when the mayor asked them to fire Pedro Martinez initially, they refused, citing that there was no real reason to fire him and the fact that they agreed with him not taking out the
Let's
loan.
hear this woman cook.
And
Hold on, we
so,
gotta
you
hear
know,
her
we
cook.
have our mayor who went to our state senator to maneuver the laws that took place that got our elected school board so that the Chicago Teachers Union could have control and of how those people were elected, and also giving the mayor more control, or CTU, because they're one and the same, when the appointments for the Chicago new elected board were appointed. And so as you see, initially, all of the members were supposed to be elected. And Mayor Johnson went to our state senator, I guess hand in hand, and asked him to do things a little differently and to change how the members were going to be appointed, as well as how they were elected. I think that we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that they asked these parents and regular community members to come up with 1,000 signatures in order to get on the ballot. Now, keep in mind that we have congressmen and state senators who don't have to have more than 300 signatures to get on the ballot. So to ask a parent to come up with that kind of signatures was already setting parents up to fail, putting him in a position to appoint the people that he wanted to appoint, which is why we have now our CEO of the Chicago Public Schools now being fired.
Ekata, let's take a look and remind our.
So Brandon Johnson basically tried to strong arm the people of Chicago. And first of all, he finessed y'all because he never talked about this in the city council meetings. He never talked about this with the aldermen. He never talked about this with Chicago Flips Red. He never talked about this with Chicago Red. So basically what he's telling you, or what they're telling you, is that Brandon Johnson tried to strong arm a dude into, this is what they're alleging. He tried to strong arm the dude into taking out a $300 million loan against the city. He refused, and that's one of the reasons that he got fired.
Our viewers about Mayor Johnson's record, a $982 million budget deficit, and proposing this $300 million property.
He ain't even been in office that long.
Tax hike, spent $527 million on new migrant arrivals, ended Chicago's ShotSpotter gunshot detection tech despite a 33-14 alderman vote in favor of saving it. Kata, what is the future now? What comes next with Pedro Martinez, the CEO? Because it appears he was fired, quote, without cause, and now has some legal standing perhaps to challenge it.
And it's going to cost taxpayers more money.
Well, of course, I'm sure that he is going to challenge it. I'm sure that he is going to probably sue the city of Chicago, which means that the city is going to be finding itself in deeper financial debt. And it's just a travesty. Let me just say that as mayor, any mayor who comes in has a right to appoint the person that they want. That's not what happened here with Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez basically lost his job because he refused to do something that would have been bad for the city.
So now, guess what happens? Let me tell you how bad, I'm going to keep saying this. Let me tell you how bad Brandon Johnson is. Now, it's even worse. You know why it's worse? Because it's going to cost the taxpayers even more money. Because now he's going to sue. It's going to be more legal fees. It's going to be more confusion, cost more money. The lawyers are going to get richer. And he probably going to be able to get a payout because if he was fired without just cause because he was trying to do the thing that's best for the city and for the school system, he'll probably be paid out. And you still going to have to you're going to have to hire somebody else to take his place at a much greater rate. Jesus Christ. How do y'all justify this? How do y'all justify y'all taxpayer dollars being used so wild, being used so willy-nilly? How do y'all justify this? Welcome to Chicago. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. I want to get into this other conversation about returning to the office. Levite Apparel in the building says, I got your back with the super sticker. Thank you, Levite Apparel. Courteous Contemplation says, I cannot tell you how many people I talk to that cannot complete a P&L statement, a profit and loss statement, and have so-called business degrees. Always know your worth. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let's Talk Game says, listening to you while I'm delivering last-minute packages. Out of curiosity, AD, since Mika recently mentioned tax codes, would it be possible if you could teach us bag chasers about them, or is it already in the Patreon? Yeah, we could do a live stream about that. I can deep dive in that. It's about to be tax season. Why not? Why not? Wyatt says, and don't forget, they needed money to get where they're at to even get the job. That is facts. That's also facts. Let me just double check something. Shout out to Frank White. Frank White says, salute. I appreciate you, Frank White, on Cash App and everybody that support the platform. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. That is your reasonable price of admission. That's all we ask, is to hit the algorithm. We don't ask for super chats. We don't ask for Cash Apps. People do that on their own, so we automatically, give them acknowledgement because they deserve it. They didn't have to give us anything. We don't ask for it, though. But I will ask you, if you have been here more than once, why are you not subscribed? Why have you not hit the notification bell so you can see when we go live? That's the problem. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon so y'all not out here being dusty. Shout out to my girl Mika in the chat. I appreciate you. All right, y'all ready to get over to the show? Well, this is the part that is going to upset people. This is the part that is going to upset the people. Returning to the office. They're saying that Elon Musk is going to use returning back to the office in order to get some of these government workers fired. I'll tell you how. Check it out.
The days of everyone heading into the same office to work 5 days a week came to a dramatic halt in 2020 as COVID shook the world. But this year, another shift has been happening for many organizations that have continued allowing employees to work remotely beyond the pandemic.
Here come the employees back to work in the city. No more working from home.
Amazon is demanding its corporate employees return to the office 5 days a week,
forcing employees to come back into the office.
They're being ordered back to the office.
This year's slew of return to office mandates have made headlines as some of the biggest companies, including Amazon and Walmart, have announced full 5-day-a-week returns to office for their workforces. And Elon Musk, a CEO known for railing against remote work, has shared plans to mandate a return to office for all U.S. federal employees once President-elect Trump takes office through the proposed Department of Government Efficiency. But research suggests that these mandates lead to an exodus of high-performing employees, and not all CEOs and business leaders agree. In fact, the vast majority of executives we spoke to at last month's Fortune Global Forum said that a version of remote work was here to stay, the hybrid work model.
I'm thinking it's going to be hybrid forever. I'm thinking the all in or the all out doesn't work. I think people get motivated by being with each other. I think they also have incredibly complex lives and they need to balance.
The hybrid model brings together new and old ways of working, combining the flexibility and autonomy of remote work with the culture and collaboration that comes along with face-to-face office environments. Workers spend their own money and time each day they head to an office, so remote days mitigate that burden, while also making it easier for them to handle kids, appointments, and other responsibilities. Some companies are leaving the decision up to the employees.
In our office space where people
Okay. I was muted again. I'm sorry. We're going to be back in the office soon. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Thank y'all for letting me know that I'm muted. When a company, before we get into the Elon Musk thing, when a company says we're going to leave it up to the worker in most instances, what they're really saying to you is that we're going to be able to separate the top performers from those that are just lagging. We're going to separate the top performers from those that just do the minimum requirement to meet whatever expectations to keep their jobs. That's what the company is saying. They want to know the people that are going to take the initiative and do what they're supposed to do versus the people that's going to do what they have to do in order to just survive. I'm telling you, you could sit there and you could say Anton, but they said this, they played it this way, they did it that way. I am telling you that that is the way that they are going to go about separating the people. If you want to know the fastest way to put yourself at the bottom of the totem pole, I'm not telling you that you got to go back to the office. I'm not telling you that you need to go into the office. I'm not telling you that you should stay home. I'm not telling you anything. I'm telling you with the mindset of upper management that makes certain decisions. They know who is who and they know who to separate the real from the fake. All right, let's continue.
could be remote, we've allowed people to make that decision themselves. And about 70% of our workforce, that's adopted to the fact that they don't have to commute, they don't have to buy work clothes, they don't have to have that chunk out of their day. They can do their work when it fits for them. One thing we know is if our workforce likes it, they do a better job for our customers.
Cap. And let me also tell you something else that goes on before we get to the Elon Musk return to office mandate and what it really does, okay? When cities have people going into the office, it is a trickle down effect of benefits and prosperity. And let me tell you why. Because people that get out the house tend to participate in society in a lot of different ways. You're more likely to go out to lunch. You're more likely to support gas stations and stop there in order to fill up and then also get a snack or two. You're more likely to go shopping for better clothes and you get more active, which then lowers the amount of money that you got to spend on healthcare coverage to support that employee because your workforce tend to be healthier. You then get out and do other things. You go to networking, you do the parties, you do the company outings. You tend to be more engaged in society when you go into work, which then feeds into the tax base, the circulation of dollars, money moving around all throughout it. Listen, it's a reason why they still do in-person games. It is a reason why they do in-person games. So why don't you think that the NFL, the NBA, and so on and so forth don't only take the broadcasting money, kill the stadiums altogether, and just do in-person intramural games where they basically record it, and then you can cheer online and you can get on your VR and cheer for them. The reason why that is because it's so much money that's being circulated. You hire more people, the other business owners, the restaurants, the vendors, the people, the street cleaners, all of those people have jobs because people get out and they interact and they participate with each other, which keeps the dollar circulating. So the city wants the businesses to have their people come into the office. And so, you know, the thing that is so weird to me is that when y'all had these conversations, and shout out to the chat, the thing that's so weird to me is that when y'all have these conversations inside of the chat and y'all say, but it affects my life, and man, don't nobody give a flying F about your life. Y'all have to start looking at it outside of yourself. Now, I'm not saying that affects your decision to not do what's best for you, but I want you to get the understanding as to why things happen, not just for you to be sitting here telling everybody to look at it from your lens. Well, look at it from my lens. I got kids. Well, look at it from my lens. I got to make this commute. Nobody cares about your commute. They care about what makes the most sense for the city, what makes the most sense for the company, what makes the most sense for the tax base, what makes the most sense for the circulation of the dollar, what makes the most sense for the businesses, what makes the most sense for small business owners, what makes the most sense for vendors, what makes the most sense for the city workers, what makes the most sense for the cleaners, what makes the most sense for everybody. Why would they have construction workers and then investments in the cities to build bigger buildings if you only stay from home, if you only work from home, right? I'm not telling you that it makes more sense for you. It can make more sense for you if you embrace it or you do things a certain way. But what I am telling you is that the only way that you start to understand things from a business perspective, or you're able to make more informed decisions, is if you step outside of your stupid little zone and start looking at things from a holistic, worldwide view and perspective. That's how you understand where the money is. That's how you understand where to generate the revenue is. That's why you understand why these lawmakers and legislators and CEOs are making better decisions every single day, is because they don't make decisions based off of what they think makes the most sense just for their company. They play the game. They play the long game. You sit there and you say, oh man, all of these restaurants are closing. That's because ain't nobody downtown during business hours to go to the restaurants. The only time they go in is to go to a game, and then they leave and they go back out to the suburbs if they decide to go to a game once a year. Once a year. It's more than just you. They make these decisions in tandem. They make these decisions with business leaders. They make these decisions together with each other because they need their city to thrive. They need their businesses to thrive. They need the environment to thrive. They need you to thrive and to get your Wall-E looking butt up. And you don't want to engage, and that's why you've gotten lazy. You got lazy. And you thought that you working from home was going to be forever, and that was the way that the rest of your life was going to be. Now we got people on TikTok saying, it costs me an extra $10,000 a year to go into work. What's the cost? What's the cost-benefit analysis? What's the value proposition? You might find your husband outside instead of being inside looking frumpy all day. I don't know.
So the hybrid way, in our conclusion, is the best balance between the two sides.
Cities is full of crime. That's from Chad Ernest. Cities is full of crime. Okay, go out there and get robbed so we can hire more police officers and get more judges on the payroll then. Cities is full of crime. I know. 100% they are.
What one has to realize is that extreme of either side is bad.
This motivation to avoid extremes turned out to be a prime factor for many in finding balance through a hybrid work model. CEOs agree that there's an element of creativity and collaboration that just can't be replicated in a fully remote environment.
Being in person, collaborating, learning from each other was really important to me and important to how I grew up as a leader. And so that is an important part of collaboration. It's an important part of leadership development. And I think we've sort of lost some of that over the last few years.
It's not just staying in your lane and doing the work you have to do today. We can be very efficient at doing that over Zoom and remotely, but it's when we're together, we get the creativity, so it's critically important to have people together. We value the time we spend together, and so we try to make those 3 days the same 3 days so that we can all work together. And then understanding the realities of life outside of the office and the difficulties of commuting, and providing some flexibility on the edges, I think is important. It allows us to attract and retain a really talented workforce.
While there are benefits to working together in person, some see the return to office mandates as a thinly veiled way to reduce headcount by getting employees to resign in protest.
We're seeing a whole lot of pushback from major corporations where they're trying to bring people back into the office, and they know that as a part of that, that will further reduce their workforce.
And that way they don't have to offer you a severance package or pay unemployment or any of that. That's what we like to call in the industry negging you out. Neg is short for negativity. Negging you out. We can filter through you. Okay, well, listen, we want to make a mandate. We really need to lay some people off. We really need to make this company more efficient. And either we can become more efficient through people doing better at their jobs by collaborating and coming in and working together, or we can become more efficient by getting rid of the people that's the laggards, is not adding value into the company, or a combination of both. So the company is profitable, but you know what? We can find out who the true laggards are. We can find out who the people that don't add value into the company, who not team players, who not a cultural fit, who don't work as hard. We can't really monitor what they do. They keep on being late into the meeting. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to neg them out. We're going to neg them out. The first thing that, for example, Elon Musk is going to do and Vivek Ramaswamy is going to do is they're going to say, hey, listen, we don't know who doing what in the government, and so before we even do this audit for the government, the first thing everybody got to do is you got to come back into the office. And you're going to get probably a good 25 to 30% of people. I know I signed up for the job. I know when I first got this job that they said come into the office, but I don't want to come back into the office because it upset my life. And I moved away. You know what? I'm going to just quit. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to become a full-time mom, or I'm going to get another job. Cool. Save money. Natural attrition. Natural attrition. That means you're going to quit. We ain't got to worry about paying you out outside of your PTO, and you get up out of here. Natural attrition. Now we can start to right size some of these departments from the people that actually want to participate in the success of what we got going in. They're going to neg you out so that they know that you're willing to forego a bag because you're emotional, and that's going to separate the real from the fake. Before they ever get to auditing the federal government, they're going to get rid of the people that don't want to return back to the office because they are too lazy and they are willing to forego a bag before they willing to upset their own creature comforts. If you can't watch Netflix while in the office, I don't like that. Okay, well, cool. Stay home then and quit.
Elon Musk even admitted this is a reason behind his plan to end remote work for federal employees.
Requiring federal employees to come to the office 5 days a week would result in a wave of voluntary terminations that we welcome.
But whether headcount reduction is the goal behind these decisions or not, it's turning out to be the result. Amazon employees began mass applying for new positions, and a survey found that 73% of these workers were considering quitting. And following Walmart's return to office announcement, Sam's Club chief technology officer resigned in protest.
See?
But despite
even the chief technology officer resigned. I'm protesting! And they resigned.
the rise of hardline stances toward in-office mandates, the leaders we spoke to praised the best of both worlds approach.
We've all learned as employers that you can be really, really productive even when you're not in the same physical location. So I expect that this is a trend that is here to stay.
People have different work styles.
Jean says, I agree so much. I wish I never retired. I never go out anymore. I look frumpy all day and it leads to depression. Worst mistake in my life. And that's a fact. I'm glad that you one of the first people that's actually being honest about that. Never retire. Never retire. Never retire. Always be. Let me tell y'all something, fellas. You know what's going to happen when you retire? You know what's going to happen when y'all retire? Now, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to keep it 100% with you. 100%. And then we're going to go over to the next subject. You know what's going to happen when you never retire? Or when you do retire? You ain't going to have no excuse to get out the house no more. Now you got to spend all your time with her. Listen, baby, I'm not saying that you're not a nice person to be around. I'm not saying that you're not a joy. I'm not saying that you don't got good box. What I am saying, though, is that being forced to be around you 100% of the time and I don't have no ability to get out of here or make no excuses. Now, this is not my plight. Let's be clear. I got a whole nother different wave that I'm on. But this is what a lot of guys got to go through. They retire and they regret it because they don't have no excuse to be able to get the heck up out of that house. Now you ain't got no reason to be home. And guess what she gonna do when you get home? Put you to work. Now you're doing snow every day. Now you're working on gutters. Now you're painting the house. Always got a project for you. Always got a project for you. You can't watch TV in peace. See, that drive into work, that used to be a peaceful thing. You used to go out with your buddies. You was fit. You was looking good, taking care of business. You put your Sunday's best on every day because that's the way it is in downtown America. Downtown, anywhere America, that's when you're going to see the most beautiful people. People actually care. They get their hair cut. They take care of themselves. They iron their clothes. They smell good. Their breath smell good. They walk real fast. They trying to get raises and promotions. It's actually pretty motivational when you go into a downtown environment and seeing how people operate. It forces you to step your game up. Now, you up in there with her frumpy butt all day, and she keep on breathing in your face. Good morning. Now you want to get a hobby. That's when people become greeters at Walmart. What? Listen, you think that all of these older people is being greeters at Walmart because they need the extra income? They retired. They had already set they fixed income to what their life is. They out there for social activity. They trying to get away from your big head because you won't do nothing or fix yourself up. And every day you keep looking natural. Every day you keep looking natural. Good morning. You want some coffee? Mmm. Mmm. And you actually messing up. She keep trying to get you to not retire because you messing up what she got going on. Every day she get a visitor, and it ain't from Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Now she gotta let go of her boyfriend. Look, y'all don't want to have no conversation. You messing up. You keep saying, "Baby, I could spend some more time at the house." She don't want you. Her boyfriend stop by every day. Honey, why you want to retire? Is that really what's best for you? That's crazy. I don't know why you would want to do that. She don't want you to retire. She don't want you to retire because then she got to retire. And she got to start being a good Christian. Man, listen. I need to get back into the studio. I'm a mess over here. I am a mess over here. Anton keeps saying the thing out loud. They said, who hurt you? Who hurt me? Who hurt me? Why would I be hurt? I feel good today. Voice is coming back. Look at this. Somebody in here, listen, we got thousands and thousands and thousands of people that's watching this right now. Somebody in here like, wait a minute, what? What? You think so, Anton? Now y'all sending me emails for coaching calls. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Well, Building Journey says, I'm muted. Thank you. I'm not muted anymore. I appreciate y'all. Couple little hiccups where we there. To the AI voiceover fund. They like it because they working 5 jobs at once. Legit, listen, let me tell y'all something. Sometimes keeping y'all marriage together and keeping y'all relationship together is the fact that y'all are working. You working, she getting worked. That's how y'all stayed together for the last 45 years. You working, she getting worked. The minute that you retire is when y'all gonna get a divorce. I can't take this old hag. She was giving a piece of your paycheck over to the pool boy anyway. I can't take this old hag. The reason that y'all still together today is because you working and she working and she getting worked. That's what kept y'all grandparents together for 4 to 5 years. Huh, Grandma, what's the secret to staying together? He worked 2 jobs and it wasn't for the money. He worked 2 jobs and it wasn't for the money. Y'all grandma and y'all grandfather been lying to y'all for a long time. And I hate to be the one to break it to you, but I got to tell you the truth. My employer announced last week that we will be returning to office full-time in July. We are now hybrid, 1 week a month. Time to branch out. Janice, get your butt into work, girl. Get your butt into work, girl. It's going to be fun. I'm telling you. It's always fun to go back into the office. Executive, because you don't be doing nothing anyway. Executive Suite MLE says, the women have themselves to thank for returning to work rather than being quiet. They brag how they are able to do laundry and run errands. Employers don't want to hear that. They ain't trying to hear that. Chip Burner says, Anton, I think businesses that benefited from people commuting to work have pivoted their operations to adjust work from home. Or not. They not. I see lists of businesses that close every single day. Honestly, I get a list on a specific website of businesses in the cities that's closing every day. X is a better ran company than Twitter. That's a fact. Never retire, always pivot. Facts. Just Go. Shout out to Just Go. My girl says, I hate to say it, but this heightened mental health crisis we are experiencing in society was put in motion by the Facts. Y'all are cooking today. Shout out to the chat. People need community. Moving from behind these devices a little makes a difference. Talk to them. This Saturday was fire in the Discord. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. We had Agile Night about budgets to get ready for the upcoming Patreon video. Recording is in the Discord. To your car's Bible study every Saturday afternoon. Facts. James says 3 software engineers got laid off at my job last year. They were making over $100,000, but were caught using mouse clickers. I was then promoted to a software architect and took over their responsibilities. They don't want to hear you though, James. They say this is this new phenomenon. I haven't checked this out yet. They said it's this new phenomenon, and it's called, shout out to y'all, I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly, and it's called, well, do I want to do that one? Let me do this one. Let's do this one. We'll save that one for tomorrow. Finally, did you know that they are saying that the government is trying to hire 1,200 diversity, equity, and inclusion employees before Trump takes office? You can't make this up. Check it out.
Don't you love it? A sea of green on a Friday morning. Dow's up 346 points. Nasdaq up 128. That's something of a reversal of yesterday's selling. The federal government reportedly looking to hire up to 1,200
Somebody said, what is a mouse clicker? A mouse clicker is a device that automatically moves your mouse around and clicks so that you don't go idle on your screen on your work device. So you don't go idle on your work device. And it won't seem like that you gone or you missing or you're not answering emails. And it's just like an automatic movement machine to make it so your device stay active and you don't get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a mouse clicker is, for those of y'all that might not know. Only the people that's trying to finesse gonna tell you about it.
DEI, that is diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats before Trump takes office. Luke Rosiak, an investigative reporter at the Daily Wire, he joins me now. Why are they doing this, Luke, when they know that Trump's going to get rid of all these bureaucrats when he takes office?
Hey, Stu. Yeah, it does seem like an effort to sandbag the Trump administration in the same way these auctioning off pieces of the border wall or signing these union contracts that extend through 2029. Even a lot of Democrats were saying after the election that kind of admitting that these DEI people are very divisive and haven't really improved anything. And yet here he is signing it, in the waning days of administration. You go to usajobs.gov where they advertise job listings, 1,200 jobs being hired right now. And this is in addition to all the DEI people that already work inside of the government. And these are people that are going to be joining the permanent civil service. So Trump is going to have to figure out some way to get rid of them. And I'm sure he's going to figure out some way, but it's going to be difficult. So this is basically the deep state preparing to sabotage the Trump administration.
But
so think about this for a minute. Let me show y'all how y'all government's setting y'all up. They are going to hire a bunch of DEI hires. Somebody actually said it in the chat. They said, if I was a DEI hire, I would be offended. And you should be offended because they know that you're a substandard, unqualified hire for the job, and you are still looking at this like you are valuable to the company, and you are not even a little bit. Diversity, equity, and inclusion has always meant to me that I am not qualified and I am probably going to wash out with everybody else. I seen DEIs in college. Even back in 2000, when I graduated in 2000, we had DEIs. And it was people that didn't meet the standard for grades, but they still wanted y'all money and they still wanted y'all to take out student loans and student debt. They knew that y'all was room 9. They knew that you was on a spectrum. And they said, oh yeah, we'll give you extra tutoring. And then you went in and you flunked out. You had a bunch of student loan debt now. You took out a bunch of loans. The university benefited from you financially, even though, their graduation rate went down. They was willing to risk it and take it to get that extra 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, $90,000. But they had you up in there because they said we need just as many this people and just as many this people. And so they brought you into the university and you was in there as a diversity, equity, and inclusion hire, and you wasn't qualified to be there. It was so many people that were on these college campuses then, and they're on the college campuses now, and they flunked out and they was not qualified to be there. They never had a chance whatsoever. They never had a chance. Somebody said room 9. Okay, so we got a lot of new people. Let me explain to y'all what room 9 is. Room 9 is the room. It was the room that was in the middle of the hallway in like elementary and middle and high school, right? Because back then, before No Child Left Behind, we had what we called LD classes. LD classes was called learning disability. And they were, the kids that was a little bit slower than the rest of them. And the reason that the room was always in the middle of the hallway is because the middle of the hallway was the closest to the bathrooms. So they didn't have classes where they would go to the different class. You go to this when you get your books, you go to this when you got lockers. One class all day. One class all day. One kid had a helmet on. The other one was drooling a little bit. They always was singing songs all throughout the day. They wasn't learning a lot, but they was being active. Well, what happens once we implemented No Child Left Behind and they started just passing y'all through and they wasn't holding y'all back because y'all was actually good at what you did, we got a blending. And so now the room 9 kids was in the same rooms as the room 7 and 6 and 5 and 12 and 13 and 14. And so what happened? This is absolutely true. I'm not making this up. I'm giving you the honest to God truth. And so what happens is now they all blended in and you're having children with them. And you keep saying, oh man, my kid is autistic. Well, that's because the Neanderthal is over there impregnating all of the women. Because you don't want the guy that's smart. You want the guy that got his dread shaking like this. And he want to be a rapper and he might run fast. So they pass him. But he doesn't have the ability to read the contract, right? So then your kid come out, your kid is on a spectrum, and you can't figure out, oh man, is he slower? What's wrong with him? Why do I gotta breastfeed him all the way up until he's 13 years old? Why can't he drive when he turns 18, 16, 15? The teachers keep calling saying that he can't focus, he got ADHD and all of that. We all mixed in together now. We all mixed in together. There is no separation of us. We don't know who is who. All you know is, oh, I like his shoes. Oh, he got on some Ferragamos. Y'all evaluating people based off of the wrong things. So now they had to institute what we call the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program. And so they start qualifying people to get the same money or to go into these jobs when they're not qualified to get the jobs or go into it. There you go. That's room 9 in a nutshell for you.
Actually, DEI, it's in retreat just about everywhere, including at American corporations. I mean, its days are over, isn't it?
Desiree, why you say where's the science on this? The science is our real life experiences. So wait a minute. I don't know how old you are, Desiree, but you don't remember them classes? They don't got those classes no more. They don't got those classes no more. Ain't no separation.
It is, and that's why it's so shocking to see, some of these are high-level positions. There's a Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Department of Health and Human Services for Minority Health being advertised right now that reports right to the Secretary. So here it is, RFK Jr. comes in working for Trump. He's got a direct report that was chosen by the Biden administration, whose job description is to advocate for DEI.
Listen, I'll show you one. I'll show you a room 9er. Adam Price says school is a female thing. Oh, man. It never fails. I don't even have to try. I genuinely don't even have to try. All I got to do is just wait. Just wait for one comment to come up. Use somebody as an example. And just go with it. School is a female thing. We fought all of these years just to be able to learn how to read. Most people within the community can't read past the 2nd or 3rd grade level. School is a female thing. Most men that's running the world, they're not even educated. Oh, man. Let's continue.
The Securities and Exchange Commission is hiring a supplier diversity director for $251,000 a year. You've got 3 positions at the FDIC for diversity roles, $300,000 a year each.
That's so dumb.
Working from home 3 days.
Do y'all hear what the type of roles that they got going on? Listen to this.
$1,000 a year. You've got 3 positions at the FDIC for diversity roles, $300,000 a year each, working from home 3 days a week.
What?
Shout out to the Biden administration giving away all of the free tax dollars. This guy is going to leave a stain on this country for the rest of our lives. This guy is going to leave a stain on this country forever. Forever. This is not a peaceful transition of power. This is him throwing everything, including the kitchen sink. Everything, including the kitchen sink, to make it more difficult for the Trump administration when he get into office. $300,000 positions, working from home for the majority of a week on a hybrid work schedule for a diversity position in the federal government. They paying $300,000 for diversity positions? For diversity positions? Good God, bro. Talk about no value add. That's why we so falling behind in this country.
So these are people that are essentially doing nothing, but if they're doing something, it's actually negative value. It's divisive and destructive.
You know, you're killing me, Luke, but I've got to move on for one here. Biden announced student debt cancellation for another 55,000 public service workers. That brings the total relief to about $180 billion for 4.9 million borrowers.
Insane.
That's just happened this morning.
Yeah, and it's kind of a corollary to the DEI thing. I mean, the Democrats view Americans as working to serve public employees instead of government employees working to serve us. And really bad things happen when you start operating the...
Let me go get that extra 300,000. If they doing work from home, they might as well just give it to me too. Why they at it?
Government as a jobs program. I mean, look at what happened with coronavirus when the schools shut down because the Democrats get a lot of votes from the teachers' unions. Kids are still, basically, their lives were ruined. They're still dealing with that. But they do tend to overplay their hand when people see these people that are working from home.
I can't take no more. I can't take it. This administration need to go immediately. We got less than 30 days. We got like 27, 26 days before Biden get out of the office. Oh, please, God, expedite this expeditiously. Good gosh. Worst president of all time, possibly. Could quite possibly be the worst president of all time. No exaggeration, bro. No exaggeration. Let me read some of these super chats. And Anton, stop giving a secret to secret to marriage success. Hopefully, y'all not dealing with that. Good morning, AD. Can't wait to get to it. Bag chasers in my city, DC. I will be in DC probably this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We got some events to take care of. Go to my community tab on the Anton Daniels channel, or go to my Instagram and see what's happening. We getting it in, y'all. Shout out to Mika. Allure, shout out to you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Janice says, I'll miss Millionaire Morning Show. Oh, no, you won't. You ain't got no phone? Better get that on that. Go get your AirPods together. And you're not going to miss nothing. We going Millionaire Morning Show all day. No excuse lifestyle. Rocky K says, what up, AD? I'll be honest. If I hear someone say the reason I'm hired was because I'm black or DEI hire is more insulting than not being hired. Salute to you. Listening to the show, doing Uber. You see that? Men build. Men build. They're not going to tell you that they got hired from a DEI. They're just going to say that that's what they do. They're going to run it up with their position. I'm glad I was in honors classes. No, Jerry. No, I'm about to apply. I'll leave no money on the table. Talk about it, Mika. Chris Cunningham says, Mika, let's apply. F it. Devastator says, they still had that class when I was in school. Really? Wow. Elon and Vivek is about to cancel all that out anyway. Elsa Turner. I'm sorry, Elisa. I meant to say Elsa. Elsa Turner says, it's an older autistic boy in my baby's daycare who bangs his head against who bangs his hair against the back of the chair. My 18-month-old started banging. Oh, Elsa, give me a second. Let me take this in, what you're saying right here. You said it's an older autistic boy that was in your baby's daycare who bangs his head against the back of the chair. Your 18-month-old started banging her head too. Luckily, he's gone and your baby stopped. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord, be offense. Oh, hallelujah. You know what I need, God. You know what only you, God. Oh, Elsa, that was hilarious. Good thing your baby's head is safe, though. Marriage, politics, and sports. Jesus, Lord, help me. Anton, does Biden even know what's going on? The Shadow Rogues are making him sign after they wipe the truth from his lips. I don't know where Biden is. We got like 27 more days, though. They making us share spaces with people who ride the short bus and wearing baton. James says, Have you ever seen those Day in the Life of a Tech Worker TikToks? They're mostly by women and all they do is eat. Yup, I sure have. And a lot of them be Asian too, to be honest with you. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is the best morning show on earth. I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. You guys are the greatest audience on the face of the earth. Tune into the Q show tonight. We getting it popping. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We back at it tomorrow with the Millionaire Morning Show. Pull up in DC if you're available. I'll be there. I'm going to holler at y'all later. This is so crazy.